Democracy is under attack. Not one day, but every day. And right now. I'm Harry Dunn, and this is Standing Our Ground. Friday, Donald Trump was up in New York campaigning, not for himself. Well, does he ever do anything that's not for himself? Well, he was up in there on Friday, up in New York, campaigning for a longtime friend, Bruce Blakeman, up in Nassau County, to help him unseat Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul. Now, that's very common for Donald Trump, who is a walking Hatch Act violator. That's literally what he is. The thing about this rally that made me, what caught my attention more than anything, is Donald Trump is the backdrop of it. Nothing but law enforcement standing behind him, salivating over him, clapping to everything that he said, which included, hey, we killed DEI.
And we've essentially killed DEI. Isn't that nice? No more DEI. I don't see the people behind me big on DEI. Were you big on DEI, anybody? That's not a DEI group, I can tell. It never was, by the way.
Which was kind of ironic considering the amount of women and what appeared to be Latinos in the police force that were standing behind him. It was just really disappointing to see law enforcement standing with Donald Trump, especially considering the way law enforcement has been treated. Well, specific law enforcement has been treated in the aftermath of January 6th. The FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, has endorsed Donald Trump all 3 times that he ran for office. Think about that for a second. A criminal, a convicted felon, a con man, and just a terrible human being. The largest police union in the world decided to endorse Donald Trump. That's just sickening, considering I was a police officer over 15 years. And this isn't even about Democrat or Republican. If they felt that they prefer Republican values, the FOP could have kept their endorsement to themselves if they didn't want to endorse Kamala Harris in the last go round. The fact that they still endorsed him after Donald Trump he didn't lead it legally. I can't say that he led it, but he fomented the mob that attacked the Capitol on January 6th. They hung on to his every word. They were there because Donald Trump sent them. Those police officers in the backdrop of that video, in the backdrop of that picture, are just disgusting to me because the fact that anybody still supports him, especially law enforcement, after what he did by pardoning, not only pardoning, but wanting to pay the people who assaulted me and my coworkers on January the 6th. Anybody that stands with him, especially law enforcement, is an absolute disgrace. And it should worry every single person in the community that lives in the community that those police officers serve, because they believe that violence is acceptable if the reason is justified. The ways justify the means, and those means were Donald Trump telling you it was okay to fight for him, and you will not take this country back with weakness. That should worry every single community member who lives in the community where Trump supporters, police officers, live, because they don't believe in a police force that actually serves. They believe in police forces that actually enforce, that terrorize communities. Those are probably, a lot of those people probably want to work for ICE. That's what ICE is doing to our communities. And that's why Donald Trump is so pro-ICE, because they are doing everything in Donald Trump's name, everything that he wanted. It's not in the name of law enforcement. It's not in the name of supporting communities, not in the name of being a public servant. It's in the name of Donald Trump said so. And you people wonder why there are so many law enforcement officers who are Republicans, who are Trump supporters. It's not about the profession. It's about the type of people that they are. They don't believe in empathy, in kindness, and compassion. They don't believe in holding police accountable when police mess up. as a police officer for over 15 years, I absolutely believe that policing is one of the most noble professions that you can do, but only when you realize you are doing it for the people and not yourself because you have some power kick or some power hungry drive that you are just a scratch that you need to scratch it. You have to be this asshole to people instead of actually serving what police are supposed to do. Protect and serve is your job description. And the people in the backdrop of this video have just made me absolutely disgusted by continuing to stand with Donald Trump, which is why I left the Fraternal Order of Police, because they couldn't condemn the president for his actions on January 6th. One quick story. On January 6th, there was a police officer who attacked police officers on January the 6th. He was an active duty police officer in the state of Illinois. And you know what? He got in trouble for it. And you know who represented him in court? The Fraternal Order of Police Lawyers. You can't make this up. September 9th, September 9th in Rhode Island, they will hold their primary for Congress, for governor, for all local elections. But specifically, the one that I want to talk about right now is Rhode Island's second congressional district, which is currently represented by Congressman Seth Magaziner, who was a great rising star, I would say, in the Democratic Party. He has served in Rhode Island's second congressional district since 2023, and he's just a all around just a good guy who cares about the well being of his constituents. And just wants to make life affordable and better for everybody, especially his constituents. Now, why am I talking about a Rhode Island race? Well, one, because I care about just electing good people around the country. Uh, excuse me. And also paying attention to the people that are running against them and their challengers. Now, while their primary is September the 9th, and somebody on the Republican side that I wish that I didn't have to give oxygen to, that I just wish would just go away, because anybody opposing Congressman Magaziner is problematic already. Um, but specifically, this one particular individual, his name is Vic Meller. Now, Vic Meller uh, is a self-proclaimed proud J6 patriot. And first of all, people are questioning whether he even lives in the state. He hasn't been in Rhode Island for over 30 years. That's what people are reporting. But when pressed on it, people are wondering, where the heck do you actually live? But outside of that, he was at the Capitol on January 6th and calls it one of the proudest moments of his life. Now, he still has to get through the primary, but he has loaned himself millions and millions of dollars to get through this primary and run against Congressman Magaziner. I'm bringing attention to this issue because we need to understand who is running, who is attempting to run this country. Not guarantee you if he makes it through the primary that he'll get the endorsement of Donald Trump and the whole Republican Party. Hell, just last weekend,
Vic is friends with Michael Flynn. He was at the Capitol on January 6th and posted about it on Facebook.
What's your view of the January 6th event at the Capitol?
Well, I believe we're rightfully there. First Amendment rights goes both ways, right?
But you don't have the First Amendment right to storm into a government building to try and disrupt a valid election.
No.
Do you think that they were disrupting a valid election?
Well, it wasn't a valid election, so that's my view of it.
Rudy Giuliani showed up at a press conference for him in Rhode Island, a rally for him. Rudy Giuliani, disgraced former New York mayor Rudy Giuliani, Trump loyalist, Trump ally Rudy Giuliani. Guess who else he had campaign for him and is called a good friend of his? General Mike Flynn. Yeah, that Mike Flynn. That criminal Mike Flynn, that traitor Mike Flynn, the Trump loyalist Mike Flynn. Now, this is what we need to continue to do. We need to make ourselves aware of who is attempting to run this country, to be in power, to have a seat at the table. Why? Not to make life better for other people, to seize power for themselves to financially enrich their loved ones, the people they care about, and not the American people, and just straight up criminals. This person said we had every right to be at the Capitol on January 6th. And when pressed about it, the reporter asked him, "Do you believe that?" Well, he led him to the point. Do you believe the election was valid? And he said, "No, the election was not valid. It wasn't a valid election. An election was stolen." Those are the people that want to run for this country. Now, I hope the people of Rhode Island, well, it's the Republican primary, and I hope the Republicans do the right thing by not electing this guy. But I hope in November, well, I'm pretty sure that this country, especially the citizens of Rhode Island, will elect Seth Magaziner, who is a great person. And I'll tell you what, if this guy, Vic Meller, makes it through the primary, you'll see me up in Rhode Island to campaign against him because I have shifted my focus to find accountability in other ways that this government has failed to give me, that this country has failed to give me. And accountability with that, in this case, would look like Vic Miller losing his election. And I will do everything I can to make sure that he does. Stay tuned with this. We'll have more to follow with this election.